Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to have a rising contender through the
Ooh,
Misfits rankings, especially with the recent win over Walid Sharks. Please welcome Fox the G, man. Listen,
howdy,
Fox.
ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, we've done we've done recently a lot of the IRL interviews, but like the last time we actually done an online interview, swear to God, it was 2023. I actually like looked it up not too long ago. So
Yeah,
when I knew that we were gonna get the schedule, man, oh man, I've been pretty excited because there's been a lot of stuff on my mind, Fox. I'm telling you that right now.
yeah.
But listen,
Likewise, bro. Likewise.
nah, but listen, yeah, Fox. Getting into your fight, kind of how I mentioned in the intro, you got the win over Lead Sharks. Now that has been almost a month since that fight, how have you like how do you kind of rate your performance?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I think it's aged well so far. I think there's obviously room for improvement. There's a lot of things that I wish that I had done better, but that's kind of the point of that fight. That's kind of the whole point of the Walid fight. He's a very experienced boxer, and as we said in the build-up, and I should have stuck to my jab more, but at the end of the day, we got the win. And yeah, I thought my boxing was good. I thought I had good movement. I thought I looked slick. And that's all that matters, man. Yeah.
No, that's absolutely fire. One thing I've kind of noted, especially with your with the fight buildup, you seemed actually very confident that you were gonna win. I know generally like when you take a fight, like you think you
You
should win
always
the
are.
fight. Yeah, always are, right? But with this one it was very different. Was there a moment in camp or a time in camp where you knew that damn, like I'm actually really gonna win this fight? And if you did, when was that situation?
I think for me, when there's a training camp, there's kind of a whole there's like a build up. There's a
Mm,
process of my mindset. And at the start of the camp, before I've had the initial sessions and things like that,
mm,
um, I get nervous and worried. I mean, you stay nervous the whole time. You're gonna have a fight. You will,
yeah.
right? But um, yeah, I think as the time went on and I had tougher rounds and we started forming the game plan, um, I I think after so many cancellations, I knew by the time I'd say 2 months out when the rescheduling happened, I knew for a fact, yeah, bro, I'm ready for this, like 1,000,000%.
No, that's absolutely fire. And I think another aspect to the fight that it's not really a secret. You and Walid, right? There, you guys were like friends, and obviously heading into the fight. I kind of want to ask, how are you able to kind of separate the two when there's like a goal in mind, obviously, with you winning the fight? How are you able to kind of separate the fact that I'm going against someone who's my friend, but at the end of the day, it's someone across the ring that I need to get the job done?
I think for me, I separated them as different people in my head.
Okay.
Um, I I kind of thought, yeah, there's this Walid that will be there in Michigan after the fight, but in the meantime, right now, there is a different version of him that
Hmm.
completely unrelated. He looks like Walid, he talks like Walid, but it's just my opponent. That's it. There's no
Okay.
history with him. I've never been to his house. We've never hung out. We never chilled. He's just the guy that I have to take out.
Yeah. And has that been like the way you've dealt with like situations when you've gone against like a friend? Because this isn't the first time you've gone against someone that you were friends with in a fight. Is
Yeah,
it how you always kind of like dealt with, especially in the past when you well, the one that I could think of was like when you fought most or when you were going to fight most, not the one. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
bro. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that I like in the Misfits scene that happen to be 135 pounds. Unfortunately, I also happen to be 135 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of inevitable that a lot of us are going to go against each other. And I think it's important to understand the business that we're in, right? When we have those
Hmm.
relationships, like with Walid, we would joke around all the time, years before
Yeah.
we even fought about us fighting.
Hmm.
Um, and I think you gotta lock in and realize this is my job at the end of the day. This is what put foods on the table. This is what's paying the rent. This is what I do. And we should be able to go in there and yeah, we gotta punch each other in the face. But at the end of the day, I made Walid a lot of money May 16th. He made me a lot of money May 16th. And we both did what provides for each other. So You just gotta stay humble and go through the motions.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair. What I kind of want to add on, especially with the lead performance, right? There's always been a lot of conversations, or especially around the community of like, with that win of what should be the next step. What would you want to like? How do I say? Actually, hold on, let me repeat that question. I kind of fucked up. There's, with that performance of that will lead with that would lead win. There's been a lot of conversations, especially in the community, of who you want to fight next. And I kind of want to ask you, with that type of performance, what does that roadmap look like?
Bro, it's one of those questions where if my answer would be, oh, Dean the Great and Lil Cray Cray and all this, right? I
Yeah.
think based off of the reactions of the community is what's more important. And what they've been saying, I think, is one more fight and then tackle someone like Dean, go after the belt,
Hmm.
fight the Cray Cray fight. So I'm looking at any of those other names that maybe high level guys have fought, right? So like Dean, he fought Fogarty. Obviously, he also just fought Walid. So if I can build the narrative by fighting the same guys that the top level guys have beaten, I could get myself on the same level as them, right?
Hmm.
And I think the Walid fight did a massive, massive step for me. And I think, yeah, now I want to keep breaking the barrier now. I want to keep saying, oh, he can't do that. Oh, that fight, that's a tough fight. And then keep winning the tough ones.
Hmm. For sure. That's actually a very interesting perspective. Especially, like of how I asked that. I kind of want to follow up though, a lot of the people who view the top tier fighters, right? I kind of want to ask if it's possible if you can like rank the four I'll mention, if that's okay with you, with like the toughest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean the two you mentioned already, Dean and Lil Cray Cray, they always get mentioned up within those like top tier fighters. And then I kind of want to include, Yuddy Gang and Joey Knight. How would you rank those
Oh,
four in terms of like the toughest fights of yeah, one through four?
shit. Everyone you just mentioned really are great fighters in their own
Yeah.
perspective, right? I think when you look at guys like Joey and Yuddy, they have their own things that they bring to the table that make them difficult.
Hmm.
And that could be different than what Walid has and what Cray Cray has. Um,
Hmm.
but I think styles do make fights, and so different
Yeah.
fights are definitely going to be tougher. I think Yuddy is one of the tougher ones if you fight him at his own game. So
Hmm.
it's tough. Like when you look at
Yeah.
him and Cray Cray, it's tough because Cray Cray beat Yuddy and Yuddy beat Cray Cray. So
Yeah.
automatically Cray Cray's the champ. So number one goes to Cray
Hmm.
Cray for sure.
Yeah.
He's earned that right. I would say I would say number two, definitely you got to go Yuddy. They had those
Hmm.
close fights.
Yeah.
Um, and then Walid and Joey, I want to see them fight. I really want to see that fight.
Yeah.
Um, Walid, I don't want to put him at four just because I've just beaten him, right? Like
Yeah.
I think he has a lot more to show than we've seen. I think he's a great fighter. He's powerful. I can tell you from being in there with him. He's
Hmm.
explosive. He's powerful. He's strong. He's dangerous. Um,
Hmm.
so I'll put him at three just off of the respect that I just had of the fight with him. And Joey, he doesn't belong at four, but they're all tough fights.
No, that's
And
true. Yeah. Hmm.
Joey's a guy that I think him and Walid should have that fight next. So
Yeah.
those two need to fight, and the top two names need to fight.
Got you. Okay. Where would you rank? Because I kind of mentioned Dean. Where would Dean be
Oh,
five?
Dean,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I
No, you
thought
good. Don't worry about
yeah,
it.
Dean. I mean, I guess technically he's the one that had the belt before Cray Cray. So
Yeah.
I guess he's actually at number two. He's
Okay.
actually at number two. He'd be like the number one competitor, right?
I got you.
So just do the same ranking, just Dean at two, and then
Yeah, everything down. I get that. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's fair. That's fair. And then you know what? I think with boxing, right? There's a lot of aspects, within the ring or just the overall, I guess, like performance and everything. What I'm kind of like interested about is the walkouts actually, right? I feel like whenever I pay attention to detail, your song choices, right? I would assume that you'd be like walking out to like a lot more like I guess like I guess songs within nowadays, like the 2010s and the 2020s, but it's actually a lot more old school, especially with songs like "The Best" by Tina Turner, "Burning Heart" by
yeah,
the Survivor Man and shit. Do you
yeah.
walk out to songs like that because of you just like in general, or is there a deeper meaning within those type of songs that you generally walk out to?
I think I think I mean, deeper meaning is a word for it. I think it's just there's a song that sets the mood right, and
Hmm.
I've had enough training camps now. I haven't had billions of them. You know, I'm no Mayweather, but I've been through the process of a boxing camp enough times to
Yeah.
have songs that match that vibe. Every time it's a different feeling, right? With Jay, it was
Hmm.
real. Question and who am I and what is my identity in the ring
Hmm.
and I just wanted the one that made the crowd. I wanted to break into the scene with and be respected. So I did I predict a riot, which is a song that is
Hmm.
uh, from a band in Leeds, and
Okay.
so like the crowd would love that. Burning Heart. I felt like in that camp I was just trying to level up. I was going through a lot in that camp. It felt like my own Rocky story. I moved over from America to the UK. I was doing training in the dungeon, for lack of better words,
Yeah.
right? Me and Coach were staying in an Airbnb in the get like literally in the ghetto, bro. Like across from us, there were guys that were moving weed like in and out every day, like directly across from us. You got to remember, I'm from a nice place back home, right? So it's like really thrown into that environment, and I'm training just down the road from there, like. And Burning Heart just matched. Coach played it on the way to sparring one time, and it just I was like, yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
hits.
Yeah.
And simply the best this time around. This camp was about showing, yeah, I'm on this level now. You know what I mean? It's not, oh, can Fox beat Walid? It's me saying I will beat Walid, and I will show you that I'm on that level, and I'm simply the best. That was the point.
That's fair. And kind of more onto like the walk outside of the aspect. Is there do you what is it? It's kind of hard to predict it because it's whenever you're in training camp. But I do want to ask, is there are you gonna walk out to songs that are also, I guess, like that are played nowadays per se? Or is it more, I feel like you're a lot more into the vibe of like the older generations of music. Like talk to me about that. Like about, yeah, walkout songs, I guess, per se. What you want to walk out to in the future.
Bro, I love all different kinds of music. Like when you
Oh, that's
look at what
fair.
I listen to in a day, like my
Mhm.
Spotify Wrapped is bipolar to say the least, right? It'll
Oh
be
wow.
it'll be rap music that came out in 2025, but then it'll also
Hmm.
be Dancing Queen and all this old school stuff, rock
Hmm.
and pop, anything. I just
Yeah.
like what sounds good, and I think sometimes you find what fits the vibe. And so, if I have a fight and that happens to be the type of song that matches the vibe, I like a lot of Michigan rap,
Mm,
because that kind of brings me back home. So, if
yeah.
I fight in America, I'm sure it'll be kind of a homecoming for me. So there's definitely a
Yeah.
place for some modern music for sure.
Yeah. Nah, I with Michigan, the only one that like I keep seeing from like that Michigan side of things, Babytron, bro. That guy's hilarious.
Ah,
Babytron's
yeah,
hilarious. He's yeah.
yeah.
Some of the stuff is kind of cool, but what is it? Well, last thing though, just another what is it? I keep saying another. Apologies. Adding on to like all this boxing stuff. I saw after your fight, you know, KSI was actually talking to you. You know,
Yeah.
seemed like a very sentimental moment to you. I kind of want to ask you, what was that conversation like between you and KSI after that?
It was a big moment, bro, because you
Yeah.
kind of got to think. I mean, not only did I grow up looking up to him, right? It's not a secret, but
Hmm.
you also got to think my entire YouTube journey ever has been revolved around him in a way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of had a little bit of a base going, but then when I met him that one day in London, that exploded. And then I was, in a Reddit video with him and that exploded. And then, it was just little bits like that. And then I make videos about Misfits. I get on Misfits. It's just kind of a full circle moment back.
Hmm.
And, yeah, he was just telling me it was a good fight, man. Like you did what you had to do. That was impressive, and keep getting wins like that, and you'll get where you know you can be. And that's just to hear that from the boss of the company, the main man. It's big, bro. It's really big.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think with all of that, right? KSI, you kind of just said, KSI is someone that you've watched, especially when you were a kid, and kind of seeing JJ like talk about your fights and even posting on like IG stories and all that. Did
Yeah.
it hit with you right then and there that like, damn, like one of my favorite like creators is honestly becoming a fan of yours and your journey, or has that kind of hit, like, was that beforehand that you already kind of got that like feeling per se.
I think for me, I get very focused. Well, extremely focused just on the fight at hand. It's
Yeah.
just a job, um, and so I don't really think about it as much beforehand. You know, when I see those stories beforehand,
Hmm.
if anything, it's just like, yeah, okay, this is the expectation. If I've got him posting about it now, I can't really let that down. This is my opportunity. This is my shot. It was more pressure than ever. It was more pressure than when I initially was trying to prove it to him with my first fight,
Yeah.
because my first ever fight, um, you know, it didn't matter. Like, you know, the guy that I was fighting could have beaten me, and you know that would have been the expectation. But
Mhm.
now there's an expectation that, oh, this kid could actually be good, and now I have to prove that I am. So after the fight, yeah, it
Gotcha.
all kind of hit, and it was like, oh my god, like this is a reality. This is if I could be a 12-year-old and type out exactly my future, this is what it would look like, and it's
Mhm.
just unreal.
That's sick. No, that's definitely very cool to hear. And last thing, about like just boxing overall in general. Recently, I have seen that you've signed with Pinnacle Management, right? More on the managing side of things. People who are kind of helping out with that is Coach Sol and Keon. This being like a
Yes.
new company. What made you sign with them, and like what important aspects are they looking out for you to kind of help you with? You would say.
Bro, I think in this game, in boxing in general, there's a lot of people
Mhm.
that you cannot trust. There's a lot of bad intentions. There's a lot of people that want to suck every penny out of you if they can, or use you until you're, while you're hot, and then when you're not, they drop you. But it's important to sign with people that I know for a 100% guaranteed fact I trust and are good people.
Mhm.
And Coach and Kia, the two people that run Pinnacle, are those people. And
Mhm.
it's the most genuine people that you could sign with. And that's what's important. You know, they're not gonna try and take, they're gonna try and give. That's the whole purpose of a promoter. But nowadays it's not seen that way. So yeah, with Pinnacle, I'm excited going forward to do big things with them, and you're seeing all kinds of signings. Good energy that goes around will come back, and yeah,
Mhm.
Pinnacle's home, man. Pinnacle's home.
No, that's definitely sick. I saw when that company got made. I was very excited because I'm like, damn, like something very new, something refreshing to see. I feel like in this
Yeah,
scene, and yeah, man. I mean, I feel like y'all been making a splash, and I can't wait to see the more announcements, honestly, of what's more to come.
absolutely.
Yeah. And now I kind of want to shift it a bit towards content. You've recently actually been uploading on YouTube, and I as someone who's been a fan of it for a while, I absolutely love, the gaming side of the content too with the undisputed career and everything like that.
Ah,
Oh, what kind of made you go and make like undisputed content? That like threw me off, and I loved it though. I absolutely loved it. But like,
really?
what was the day that yeah, like what is it when you record undisputed? Like, what kind of made you do that per se?
Well, I mean, Fred, we did a video recently. We recorded it where we like 1v1s in
Hmm.
Undisputed, and I was like, oh, that was a lot of fun, and it's a boxing game, so that's kind of an excuse to make gaming content. Because, bro, like
Yeah.
what I actually like to do is with these gaming videos, like I actually enjoy them more than making boxing videos because I can really go crazy with them. I can sit here like I sat there for like 5 hours editing that Undisputed video, and I just had fun doing it. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It's a good game,
Yeah.
and it's bro, it's ideal for the channel. So going
Hmm.
forward, I hope to expand with all kinds of things. Maybe do some vlogs in the gym. Anything that pops to my mind, I'm trying to do because I think now I've kind of settled in more, and I'm able to be focused on the boxing and also be able to have fun with the content now.
Hmm.
I can get the most of both worlds, the best of both worlds.
Hmm. No, for sure. And I feel like with that series, right? How many like I guess how many episodes do you want to make that like undisputed career? Like how long do you want to kind of do that for per se? What's the number you kind of looked at, or haven't you like have you thought of that about like how long this is going to be?
I don't know, man. Maybe it would be cool to do this series and then maybe start doing like live streams down the line, something like that,
Hmm.
right? I mean, we'll see where it goes. I'm just kind of testing the waters right now because I'm thinking of, when GTA 6 comes out for sure, I want to start a gaming channel just for gaming, my guy, just for gaming, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we'll see. I'm just kind of experimenting and dabbling back into it a little bit.
Dude, that's actually I gotta tell you offline about like the plan I have for GTA 6 because I actually can't wait till that shit fucking drops. That's like
Yeah.
that's like the one game within the last like I want to say what like 8 years where I'm like, damn, this is like I no matter what I'll be waiting to
Yeah,
like play this game. Yeah, it's crazy that
absolutely.
it's well at least the plan is next year, so I can't wait till that shit drops because like. Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy time. That's when like literally the
Uh-huh.
whole internet for like months will be just focused on GTA 6. Yeah.
Dude,
That
th
yeah. Oh, sorry, go
just
for it.
think about like when you first open Instagram and see GTA 6 drops. And then just think about, bro, nothing else will matter. Nothing else will matter.
No,
There could be a
seriously.
world war. No one cares. No
Oh
one
no,
cares.
seriously. Yeah. Especially like I don't know, like even with like with like especially how like Instagram is and like memes and everything like that. Especially
Yeah.
when like there are like serious times. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say like the actually I'll censor if I say like COVID. Like
Yeah.
during like COVID time, especially during that, there were still memes about like all other shit. Fucking COVID happened and there was the fucking the green versus purple alien war. And that was all over
Yeah.
my fucking feed, bro. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. Bro, it's just
Dude,
so interesting, bro. Like, yeah.
2020 was a special time because everybody was in their house too. Everybody was
Yeah.
at home.
Yes,
Oh, dude.
bro. Dude, I was talking to someone the other day and we were talking about like what time was like the best memes, right? And I was telling them, I'm like, the best time during the memes was like like I said, the fucking green versus purple alien shit. That was genuinely the greatest memes I've ever seen. Especially
Yeah,
during its time, lockdown 2020. Oh, it was fucking perfect, bro. Like,
easily, easily.
it was great.
Nothing compares.
Yeah. And I was telling, and it's funny because like I was telling them to like from like a few years from now, the memes that's gonna start aging like well, or not well, sorry, that's not the right word, but like that'll age kind of funny is 2024. All shit that happened in 2024.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like that's what's gonna be. That's what's gonna kind of be like 2020 in like a few years, I feel like. But just
yeah,
because of all the
for
like
sure.
I don't know, all the
Dude, there's
crazy
always
conspiracy
another
shit.
thing.
Dude, it's
Literally, bro.
crazy,
You got to
man.
remember 2018, everyone missed 2016. 2020, everyone missed 2018. 2024, everyone missed 2020. You got to live in the moment, bro, because
No,
eventually it's going to be
seriously.
2030 and we're going to be like, oh, I missed 2028. Like, bro,
No,
just be
no,
happy
that's
now.
fair. No, that is fair. That is definitely true. I actually, that's so funny you mentioned 2016, bro. I swear to God, before the interview, I saw a fucking meme about 2016. Like, oh, like it'd be like, oh, did you remember the time when like there were fidget spinners and shit? I'm like, oh my fucking God, bro, yeah.
Dude,
It was like,
that's
nah,
like,
but it is true though. What you said is very true because I do have to remind myself sometimes of that. But
yeah.
um, nah, just a few more like kind of like back towards the content shit alongside with like the undisputed content and your general videos about misfits, etc. Will you be planning like I guess like other types of like gaming content or other videos on that matter? Because I feel like you've like you just said earlier, you kind of enjoy making content like gaming. Yeah, tell me about like that aspect of like are you going to venture out to other things or just kind of what's relative to what you generally do?
Dude, I really do want to have I really do want to have a channel that's just dedicated to gaming. Like genuinely, I really do. Because
Hmm.
if I could have that be a thing that actually matters. Like, dude, Phasmophobia around like October, play that
Hmm.
with some of the guys. Like
Hmm.
horror games and stuff like that. GTA 6, like we spoke about, like
Yeah.
stuff like that and doing streams, I would love so much, bro. I would love so much. It would
Hmm.
be that's yeah, that's another dream for sure to have a gaming channel. Like, dude, sitting here with
Yeah.
a controller playing games and then having funny moments that are then recorded and then I can edit. Yes, bro. Yes.
Like that grind. Yeah, I respect that. No, that's totally fair. I think yeah, if you definitely venture on that side of things, like I think a lot of people would love seeing that side for sure.
Hope so.
That'll be very cool. But yeah, just a couple more. I've seen recently you've wanted to get more active on TikTok. Funny enough,
Yeah.
and how do I want to ask this question? What is the reason why you want to get more active on there and like why? Like what's the like I guess purpose and everything like that?
Dude, I feel like you and me are at the age where we're starting to almost kind of be kind of little bit old, kind of almost. Like to the point where it's like we're almost so almost, not really, but kind of to the
Yeah.
point where some of the new stuff that we used to watch now doesn't make sense to us anymore. Like the memes that maybe 12-year-olds are watching and stuff like that. And for me, I grew up in a time where I was purely YouTube, long form
Yeah.
YouTube, and short form does not make sense to me in the same way. Um,
Mhm.
and I've got Kian, funnily enough, from Vidical on my ass, bro. Post TikToks, bro. TikTok is the way, bro. TikTok is the new thing, bro. You have to make a TikTok. So
Yeah.
really, I'm enjoying it, and I'm just kind of testing stuff out.
Yeah.
Because yeah, he's making me post a TikTok every day, pretty much.
No, that's fair. I know, what's very interesting about TikTok, which like I think it will start really competing with like the big platforms, is their like incentive programs and shit. Because like they have a thing now where it's like if you get, I think if you get 1 million views and your video is longer than a minute, you get $1,000.
That's sick. That's crazy.
It's
That's
fun. It's a
insane
shit ton of money. And like, especially how
and
like
and
short forms
easy.
is, it's like, bro,
Yeah,
easily one could blow up for no reason. Like I spent like one of my shorts like not so long ago. Don't get me wrong, I don't get like the biggest amount of views on shorts. But I maybe spent like 5 minutes on a short one time. That shit got like I had like 30,000.
yeah.
What the fuck?
Literally,
Yeah.
literally.
So
It's
random.
what you don't expect to. Dude,
No,
I made that like, dude, sometimes I'll and that's what I'm saying though, because
yeah.
it's like YouTube Shorts and Instagram doesn't really make money, but then TikTok, it's the exact same amount of effort, even less, because I feel like it's actually easier, I think, to grow on TikTok, which is another thing I like about it.
Hmm.
Because YouTube it's really tough to get going, and Instagram is really tough to get going, but TikTok, if you just spam a couple hashtags and do the same hashtags every day, like it's obviously always hard to stay consistent at anything, but eventually it will happen. Like it will happen eventually on TikTok
No, for
for sure.
sure. It's very interesting. That side of stuff is actually like very interesting. But
Yeah.
lastly, before I like wrap up everything, because like the timer's about to expire. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, yes. I'm glad I actually was about to remind you this. So when I first talked to you, it was through Twitter Spaces, right? But when I would want to say like my first ever interaction where it's just kind of us was the interview I had 2 years ago, right? What I
Yes.
have seen within your change, the biggest thing I would say is your confidence. What would you say is your biggest growth, or multiple growths from that interview since? Yeah, that's A, and then B, what advice would you tell that same kid probably 2 years ago in that interview about like this whole scene and everything?
I would say the biggest thing that changed, obviously, yeah, confidence mindset. But that growth happens through what you actually physically go through, right? That's how you
Hmm.
get mental strength.
Yes.
At that time of that interview, yes, I was in a boxing gym. Yes, I was, working hard. But what I came over and went through here definitely changed me and grew me. It matured me, and the years that have gone have the 2 years that I've been here since then have been massive for me. I mean, staying
Hmm.
in my own place, paying my own rent, cooking my own food, buying my own food, taking care of this cat wherever he's at now, right? Like things like that, and
Yeah.
the gym, and the fights, and the experience.
Yeah.
It's I At the time of that interview, I was saying I was going to be really good, and now I'm on my way to being decent, right? So it's
Yeah.
like it's I've kind of become what I said I was going to be. I said I was going to be a Misfits fighter. I said I was going to win some fights, and now I'm a Misfits fighter, and I've won some fights, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, it just everything in my life has changed, and I think I've grown to be. I'm starting to learn how to be a man a little bit, as opposed to like a teenager. I'm trying, 19 turning 20. I'm starting to learn, like I said,
That's fair.
um, being independent. So
So then, yeah, what would the biggest advice be to that same kid that you'd give to him?
I would say I was a little bit anxious about leaving school behind and
Hmm.
going and leaving home because
Yeah.
I, dude, Michigan and especially my part of Michigan is all
Hmm.
I've ever known, right? Kalamazoo, Michigan. Like I know
Hmm.
everyone in like everybody I know and every area I know, and it was big for me to leave, right? Like it
Hmm.
was really, really big. Like I love that place.
Hmm.
My advice would literally be, bro, do it. Like
Hmm.
just make sure you do it because if not, the people that I know, right? Like the house my parents are selling my childhood house. That's a big deal for me because that's the
Mhm.
only house I've ever lived in, right? And it's like
Wow, yeah. Hmm.
if now that I've left it, I've started a new life. But if I
Hmm.
just stayed there, all my friends, they're moving to different places to do school. Times are changing. The house is getting sold, so I'd have to move out anyway, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Nut, my childhood cat. Rest in peace, bro. We miss you. But you
R.I.P.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Nut. But
R.I.P.
for real, like stuff changes, and I'm happy that I jumped a few steps ahead before I did because it's just making it easier now. It was harder for those 2 years, but it's easier and smoother now.
Hmm. No, that's actually very like that's actually very cool to hear. And honestly, just from someone who's always like from the outside, sometimes inside outside kind of looking in, very proud of honestly your growth as a person over the last couple of years. How honestly like at this point you're 20, you're more mature than I am at this fucking point. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
I don't know about that. I don't know about
Yeah.
that. If I pan this camera and you saw how messy my room is, you would be saying that. But
Bro,
I'm
you should
getting
you
there.
should
I'm
have seen my
trying.
room. You should have seen my room this morning, bro. Trust me, it's it's crazy, bro. Nah, but listen, Fox, it's always a pleasure having you on for these interviews. And yeah. Before I wrap it up, if anyone who's still tuning into this, if you guys can, please hit the sub button. We're
Do it!
almost at 2,000 subs, almost at 2,000. So
Jeez!
hey, 400 more to go. Let's go. So yeah,
Let's
we're
go,
almost
baby.
there. And then, anyways, I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.